Hello everyone, I'm here tonight with my trusty old phone and Google to answer Google's questions, or at least the most commonly asked questions, starting with the phrase, why is writing? So I have a few questions that we're going to start with. Let's get started. Why is writing important? Well, this one is kind of a gray area. Well, I guess that depends on who you talk to. If you talk to me, it's not really a gray area because, and this is important, I live and breathe it. Writing is important because it allows you to record history, it allows you to record thoughts, it allows you to record sensations and memories and feelings in a way that you never would have been able to otherwise. Even if you're writing something fictional, there's pieces of you that go into the story. And it's so cool and so interesting and exciting to see how that all comes together. But why is writing important? I think it's because it allows the human to experience the world through the lens of other humans, which is not something we often get to do in any other way. Why is writing so hard? Yeah, that is a very good question that I ask myself almost every time that I sit down to write. And I think the reason is because you're doing something that many people really struggle to do. Writing is, especially if you're like writing a novel or even just like a nonfiction book, I have no idea how people write nonfiction books. They're ridiculous in terms of the lengths at which you need to talk about a certain subject. Like, I find writing novels easier because I'm just making up a story and telling it to people as it goes along, to an extent. But at the same time, there's so much creative energy that goes into it. There's so much of your own emotional energy. If you hit a writer's block, it's probably because you simply didn't take time to pour back into yourself after you've been writing so long. It takes a lot of brain power. Like, I don't know about you, but those really long days, like finals week, think of finals week. Writing a novel and writing 3,000 words every day, as sometimes happens near the end of a novel, it leaves your brain as if it was on finals week, where you're trying to cram as much information in it as you possibly can, and you're exhausted because you're not sleeping all the way through the night, and you're really just like not at the top of your A game, but you're doing the things because you have to, right? That's what writing a novel or writing anything, I think that's why it's so hard, is because they're putting so much effort and energy into it in hopes of getting anything in return, with no guarantee that it'll pay off. Kind of like studying for a big test. You have no idea that it'll actually do any good because you haven't seen the test yet. Why is writing in a journal therapeutic? This one I have to speak from my own experience with. I find writing in journals therapeutic simply because it allows me to see my own thoughts and be honest with myself, and I feel like most of the time humanity is not honest with themselves. And seeing your thoughts allows you to like be like, oh, that's it. That's how I'm feeling. Or, no, that wasn't quite right. Let me try again. Or, let me just express this feeling to the void, and no one else ever has to know about it, but at least I have recorded it for my own personal history, and if I decide I don't want to keep it later, I can burn it. Or maybe that's just me. Why is writing important in college? Well, you see, writing is vital in college because it's one of those life skills that you don't think you need, and then you develop it and you're like, oh, I use this all the time. Even just the ability to communicate clearly is so important. No matter what you're doing, even if you're not on a communications team or you're not like actively communicating with people in your workforce, you are actively communicating with people in your workforce. You're sending out emails, you're texting them, you're communicating via the written word to try to plan meetings or, I don't know, you name it. Running project heads, everything requires being able to write and communicate clearly. Writing in college, granted, writing an email, writing a business email is very different than writing an essay, but if you can write an essay succinctly and with good grammar, you'll probably be better at writing a business email than someone who cannot write a college essay. But if you learn nothing else in college, learn how to professionally email your professors. They might not professionally email you back, but learn how to send professional emails. It will save your butt in the corporate world. Alright, that's all we have time for today. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and send it to one or two of your friends who is also a writer. I'm sure you know a few of them if you're watching my channel. Alternatively, you can share it on social media. I would really greatly appreciate that. But if not, that's okay too. I still love you, and I will see you next week. I post 2 times a week on Mondays and Fridays, so I will see you then. Fridays I try to do my fun days where it's like, hey, we're just playing a game or reacting to memes or something, and Mondays are more of my business, like writing tips or answering your questions for today. So if you have questions, put them down below and I can get to them next Monday. If you have other things that you're like, oh, you should answer these questions from Google because I've never gotten a succinct answer, put those down below and I will address them in a future video. If you have thoughts on what I should do for Fun Day Fridays, let me know those as well, and I will see you next time. Bye!